Hi, Frank.
Hey, Magdi. Thanks for that great meditation. It was really, really good. Can you talk about direct experience?
Well, what is indirect experience? Hmm. Well, if I believe that the earth is flat, I have a direct experience of that belief, right? Because I experience this belief. And if I didn't experience this belief, I wouldn't be uh, sharing with you that, hey, Frank, you know what? The earth is flat. So I have a direct experience of this belief, meaning I perceive this belief, and in perceiving this belief, there is no distance between myself, the perceiver of the belief, and the belief. So there is a direct experience between consciousness, myself, my true self, and the belief that the earth is flat. But does that make it true? I do not have a direct experience of the earth is flat outside of the belief that it is flat. Uh, if I go out in space and take a look at the earth and I see it flat, I could say, okay, you know what, Frank, I have a direct experience of experiencing the flatness of the earth via the visual cortex. I see it, I perceive it, I can even film it and share with you the movie, the video. Then I would have a direct experience of the earth actually being flat beyond the belief that the earth is flat. All experience is direct, but it doesn't necessarily make it true. Now, when we speak in non-duality about direct experience, we are talking about experience which is not in time. We're not talking about a belief, because a belief is from the past. It requires, it's pulled out from the past into the moment. Then I say, oh, you know what? I believe that so and so. But in Advaita, when we speak about direct experience, we're speaking about no time. So in this moment, without the past, there is a direct experience. In this direct experience, there is no memory. There is no mind. There is just awareness. Now, in order to say, well, yeah, there is more than awareness, I see you. I see you and you are Magdi. I see Magdi or I see Frank. In a flash, in a moment, we've gone to memory, which is not a problem. I am not trying to diss memory or to vilify it. I'm not trying to vilify time or the mind. Just answering the question about direct experience. So in direct experience, there is no Frank, and there is no Magdi, because that requires memory or thoughts, or even though the brain is very, 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 very quick, so quick that you cannot even detect there is time factor. But if you develop a very precise instrument, you will find that there is a time factor for the brain activity to take place and for the visual, the image to sort of make its way to the brain and, registers, oh yeah, that's Frank. Oh, I know Frank, It's very quick. Even though it's very quick, it's a process of time. So in direct experience, it's just consciousness, just awareness, just beingness. Satchitananda. Being, knowingness, knowing itself. It's a a formless awareness which shines onto itself, which is made out of knowingness, made out of self-knowingness, without time, outside of mind, outside of the phenomenal realm, outside of the human realm. The human realm is simply a coloration of direct experience. So direct experience, as you introduce mind, you introduce thought, you introduce memory, you introduce time, you introduce space, it becomes a human experience. You introduce the concepts of mountains, rivers, California, Tennessee, Florida, whatever, then becomes a human experience, what we refer to as mind, meaning the visual field, the perceptual field, not that which is perceived, not the perceiving aspect. One could say that the perceiving aspect is direct experience, and that which is perceived is the Shakti aspect, the energetic aspect of direct experience. So in your experience, in your direct experience, you're always knowing yourself as awareness knowing itself, without Frank, without Magdi, without mountains and rivers. Then the mountains and rivers arise when there is the self-knowingness, when direct experience is realized. Then the coloration of direct experience is no longer disturbing. The waves no longer disturb the ocean. Now, this non-disturbance is what we refer to as consciousness awakening to itself. And realizing its freedom, its absolute freedom. And as a result of the realization of your absolute freedom, there is the understanding that you are free to create, and that all creation arises out of your freedom. So the concept of good and bad collapses in the absolute sense. Although in the relative sense we still comprehend that kindness is good and cruelty is bad. In the relative realm of the dream, the sweet dream, is a way of dancing which is harmonious, whereby you're not stepping on each other's toes, the toes of your partner. And of course, that's much more pleasant.
Yeah, I brought this up because when I first started doing non-duality, I remember certain teachers just saying, well, Rupert was one of them, and then I think Francis does this too. And I'm sure you've said this to us as well. Just to go to your direct experience, and that would mean like going, just closing your eyes. For me, it was closing my eyes and just really being, just checking to see what I find. And there's nothingness, but and I've often wondered if I'm using imagination to say, oh well, I don't have any borders. I don't see any borders when I close my eyes. I've always wondered if that's imagination, because I can't be certain of anything other than that I have my eyes closed and there's darkness. So is direct experience always just? Is it like like a not knowing too, or is it just? I'm trying to put this into very practical terms. Like if somebody says to you right now, if you said to me right now, go to your direct experience, would that mean taking all the thoughts out of everything and just kind of looking around and maybe just seeing things without labeling anything, without having any, like you were talking about memory and thoughts? getting rid of those and just kind of looking at anything and everything without knowing what it is, and just, would that be direct experience?
So there is awareness, right? Now you're aware, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is no doubt that there is awareness, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yet there is doubt that about that which you're perceiving. Why? Because that which you're perceiving relies on the functioning of the brain or the body mind. Let's keep it simple. It depends on the functioning of the brain, just to keep it simple. And you don't know that all the neurons in your brain are firing to their utmost capacity. I mean, when you were maybe 12-year-old, the neurons in your brain fired in a certain way, and now they're firing in a different way as a result of wear and tear. And this could be a factor in how you perceive and how you interpret. Okay, let's put it another way. It could be that I'm talking about that there is absolute certainty about consciousness, about awareness, but there is no absolute certainty about that which you perceive. It could be that right now you're dreaming. And you believe that you're not dreaming, but so in your dream, you're dreaming that you're not dreaming. You're dreaming that you're awake, but you're not aware that you're dreaming. It's a possibility. Let's say 1 in a billion. It's still a possibility that right now you're sleeping, you're another entity sleeping on a different galaxy, dreaming this dream, and believing that you're not dreaming, that you're frank, blah, blah, blah. It's a possibility, right? You agree with that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So therefore, I can conclude that there is, in my experience right now, only one thing which I can be certain of, which is awareness. Not that which I perceive, because that which I perceive could be a lie, or it could be distortion in the field, whatever, who cares? But no matter what, there is awareness. So direct experience is that which is certain, meaning awareness.
Okay.
Now, if you go into your dream, meaning if you go into that which you perceive, you have to take whatever you perceive with a grain of salt, with a grain of salt, to take whatever you perceive with a grain of salt. Okay, yes, don't mess with me. I know I'm talking with Frank, okay, but there's still a grain of salt. Who is Frank? What is Frank? So if you have a choice between direct experience being awareness and direct experience being comprised of the content of experience, you will find that you would choose direct experience to be that which is absolutely certain. This is why we refer to consciousness as being the formless reality of mind being the images on the screen, thoughts, perceptions, sensations, memory, feelings, emotions, whatever. The coloring of the screen. I'm not sure if I fully understood your question.
Yes. Magdi, you answered it like there's a bell going off in my head right now, like a light going on. Like really get this. I finally really get this. Yeah, yeah, direct experiences. I know I don't have any doubt that there's a consciousness here, but I do doubt what is perceived.
And when you close your eyes, and I said some teachers say close your eyes, and when you close your eyes, there's still awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, find our
Yeah,
no perceptions, no.
and that is my direct experience. I see that now. Yes, beautiful. Thank you, Maggie. That's really
okay.
awesome. Thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah.